Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey Affronte and I'm an attorney here at Beresford booth. Today I'll be presenting on a family law topic, and the title of my presentation is Don't Block Your Ex, Biff Them Instead. And we're going to be talking about the antidote to your difficult exes and how you can best handle them in divorce proceedings by using the BIFF method. So let's start by talking about the fact that divorce is scientifically proven to be stressful. Multiple studies have been done on this, and divorce is one of the top 5 most stressful life events that a person can experience. You'll notice that the Dartmouth study determined that death of a spouse, divorce, and marital separation are the top 3 most stressful, and that other studies, which you've probably heard of, includes death of a loved one, divorce, moving, major illness or injury, and job loss. So you'll see that the majority of what scientists have determined to be the most stressful events are going to come up during your divorce. You'll be mourning the loss of a loved one, even if they're not dying. You're going through a divorce, you're separating, one of you is moving. So it is a lot of changes. And it is, as we all know, scientifically proven that stress causes your body to have a physical reaction. And so it can create emotional distress and behavioral changes. And studies show that women are more likely to experience this emotional distress and behavioral change. So, with that said, how do you proceed through one of the most stressful life events? Here's how. You've got to start by identifying your personal goals. So what is your ideal outcome in the divorce? What are you hoping your relationship will be like with your ex? How are you hoping that you can either work together or co-parent? And what does that look like to you? From there, you want to find an attorney that can take your personal goals and make them litigation goals. So how can your attorney advance your personal goals in your divorce? You want someone that can balance both your emotional and logistical needs, because like I said, you need somebody that understands that this is one of the most stressful life events a person is going through. Because they're going to have empathy for your situation, they're going to listen to your goals, and they're going to be motivated to help you execute them. And you're going to adopt the BIFF response. So really what the BIFF response boils down to is you can only control your own actions. You cannot control your ex's actions. So we're going to learn about the BIFF response and talk about that. So BIFF comes from Bill Eddy, who is a lawyer and therapist. He has worked in the family law industry for over 20 years, and he pioneered the high conflict personality theory. You've probably even seen or heard of what we call high conflict divorces. This has become kind of an industry within the family law realm. And so the high conflict personality theory fits right in with high conflict divorces. But what does it mean to BIFF? It means to be brief, informative, friendly, and firm. So we're going to talk about how you do each of those things to create a successful communication process with your ex. Because like I said, why bother blocking them when you can BIFF them? So why BIFF? High conflict people, HCPs, as Mr. Eddy calls them, they are known for engaging in what's called blame speak. So blaming you for the position that the parties are in, engaging in all or nothing thinking or using ultimatums, avoiding taking any responsibility. They often display unmanaged or intense emotions, and they will use threats or other coercive or extreme behaviors to get you to bend to their will. So what happens when someone is confronted with a high conflict person? Your body naturally goes into that part of your lizard brain that is fight or flight. So you have a chemical reaction to this type of behavior. You need to be able to understand why and then modify your brain's fear-driven behaviors and responses. The BIFF method will keep you from having an emotional reaction, because if a high conflict person initiates conflict and you respond in kind, then what's the high conflict person going to do? Well, you basically just proved them right in their mind, right? It's all your fault. We're in this position. And you respond by saying, no, it's not. It's yours. Bop, 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 bop. Well, they just baited you into an argument, and now it sounds like it's all your fault because you were argumentative. So that's what we want to avoid when we're in a high conflict divorce. How to BIFF. So typically BIFF is considered to be a written response. That's why it's a BIFF response, but you can do it in speaking as well. So typically with a high conflict person, they're probably going to send you a snarky message or submit a snarky pleading to the court, and you have to figure out how you're going to respond. And the best way that you can go about it is the BIFF method. So you start by a one paragraph, 2 to 5 sentences, identifying the issue that you need to discuss. So is it a change to the residential schedule? Is it a simple request for somebody to pay a bill? Keeping the issue narrow and simple and easily identifiable by that high conflict person. The next is to be informative. So to be objective, not subjective. So you should be using objective statements, 1 to 2 sentences with only facts. If you have to use an adjective or a descriptive word, you are probably being subjective, okay? Being informative and being objective is going to encourage problem solving instead of baiting an ongoing argument. And then you want to have a friendly tone. So my motto is kill them with kindness, right? And then you want to be firm. And what I like about how the BIFF method closes is that it gives you an ability to set a boundary while you are communicating. So you still are in control, right? You're only in control of your own actions. So by being firm, you should end your paragraph with a sentence closing the subject, setting a deadline, and disengaging. So this is how you do a BIFF response. You want to clearly identify the issue, be objective with your facts, be kind and friendly in your tone, and then make a simple request. Thank you for your consideration. It would be helpful to me if you could get back to me by Monday. Thank you for taking a look at this. I hope you have a great weekend. Little statements like that are more likely to disarm a high conflict personality person than it would be to incite them. So you've now been walked through the BIFF method. Things that are not BIFF. Admonishments, because high conflict personalities see this as a personal attack or criticism. So why weren't the kids in bed by 8 last night? They're telling me they stayed up until 9:30. No. I would like to discuss with you our children's bedtime routines. At my house, they go to bed by 8 so that they can wake up by 7. Can you let me know what your bedtime routine is so that we can have consistency between both our houses? ? Thank you for letting me know. BIFF. Don't give them advice. They will interpret this as disrespect. If they didn't ask for advice, don't give it to them. Right? That's honestly what their attorney is for. And don't apologize, because once you apologize, you are admitting blame. And as I just said, high conflict personalities do not want to take the blame. They will put the blame on you, and an apology will give them the ability to do that without any second thought. So you want to avoid admonishments, advice, and apologies. So what does BIFF look like? To me, I think the simplest way to put it is to set the example for your kids. If your kids could see the messages that you and your ex are sending to each other, what would they think about you? Are you demonstrating the type of behavior that you want to be treated with, that you would want your kids to be treated with? I think a lot of people lose sight of setting the best example for their children in a divorce, and things are emotional and it gets ugly. But you have to remember that at the end of the day, the reason that you have made this decision is probably because you believe it's in their best interest. So for me, BIFF looks like picking one of the mottos that I have on this slide, right? Keep calm and carry on. Kill them with kindness. Rise above. Be the bigger person. Take the high road. Be the calm in the storm. Tranquility over turmoil. I can only control what I do. I can't control what anybody else does. So pick a motto for your divorce and stick with it. And remember, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So what does that mean? In a divorce or in a separation, like I said, emotions are high. You're experiencing one of the most stressful life events. Probably shouldn't be posting about it on Facebook or subtweeting about your ex, because you know who's going to find those? Somebody, and it's going to end up in discovery and presented to you when you're on the stand. Are you on the phone with a friend in front of your children? Because if you're talking smack about your ex in front of your kids, again, it's going to end up in discovery and in front of you when you're on the stand in court. So unfortunately, BIFF is a little bit like, don't live out loud, or be smart about the way that you live out loud, because what you need to do is set yourself up for success to manage a long-term relationship that has substantially changed. And you're going to be processing both your emotional feelings about that, and you're going to be processing how this relationship will look in the future. And that is going to change over time. So really the best thing that you can do is to BIFF, okay? Keep it simple, kill them with kindness, and always remember that anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So with that said, if you have any questions about how to deal with high conflict divorces, you're considering a high conflict, or you're considering a divorce and believe that your spouse may be a high conflict personality, or just want more advice about legal separations, divorces, the best way that you can be prepared for your attorney, anything like that, I'm happy to help, because I'm Kelsey Affronte here at Beresford Booth in our Family Law Division. Thank you, everyone.